Samurai weren't just warriors, they were prisoners of a code so brutal. It valued death over dishonor. It was called Bushido, the way of the warrior, and it demanded absolute loyalty, even if it meant your own destruction. Today, we unlock the terrifying reality of the code that turned men into living weapons and shaped the destiny of an entire nation. Welcome to Time Unlocked. To understand the samurai, you have to understand that their life didn't belong to them. It belonged to their lord, or daimyo. In medieval Japan, your social standing and your family's safety were tied directly to your reputation. If a samurai failed in his duty, lost a battle, or was even insulted in public, there was only one path to restore his family's name: seppuku. This ritual suicide by disembowelment was a slow, agonizing process designed to prove a warrior's courage at the moment of death. You would kneel, take a short blade called a tanto, and slice open your own abdomen from left to right, then upward. In the samurai's belief system, the stomach was where the soul resided. By cutting it open, you were literally showing the world that your soul was pure. Only then would a trusted second, or kaishakunin, swing a katana to end your life. This wasn't a punishment from a judge. It was a social requirement. A samurai who refused seppuku brought eternal shame to his ancestors and left his children in poverty. But the Bushido we hear about today, the version filled with Zen Buddhism and poetic justice, is largely a romantic invention. During the Sengoku period, a time of constant civil war, samurai were often practical and even treacherous. They switched sides, betrayed lords, and used whatever tactics necessary to win. It wasn't until the peaceful Edo period, when samurai had no more wars to fight, that the code became rigid. They became bureaucrats with swords, and the code was hardened into a tool of absolute social control. They weren't just warriors anymore. They were a caste of people defined by their readiness to die at any moment. This obsession with honor reached its peak in 1703, with the legendary story of the 47 Ronin. These masterless samurai spent years planning a revenge mission for their fallen master. When they finally succeeded and assassinated the man responsible, they surrendered to the authorities. They knew the law required their deaths because private vendettas were illegal. So, all 47 men committed seppuku together. Japan made them national heroes, cementing the idea that personal sacrifice and loyalty to one's master were higher than the law itself. This psychological programming didn't end when the samurai era did. In the late 19th century, when Japan began to modernize, the military revived the cult of Bushido to turn ordinary citizens into fanatical soldiers. They were taught that to be a true Japanese man was to be a samurai at heart. This is the direct reason why, during World War II, the world witnessed horrors that defied military logic. Thousands of young pilots volunteered for kamikaze missions, literally becoming human bombs. Infantrymen engaged in banzai charges, running into machine gun fire with nothing but bayonets, because the manual of the Imperial Japanese Army stated that surrender was the ultimate cowardice. Even on islands like Saipan and Okinawa, the influence of this code was so strong that thousands of civilians, men, women, and children threw themselves off cliffs rather than be captured by American forces. They had been told that capture was a fate worse than death. The way of the warrior had become a way of mass suicide. We romanticize the samurai today through movies and video games, seeing them as noble guardians of a lost era. We admire their discipline and their beautiful armor, but the historical reality is far more chilling. Bushido was a tool of absolute control, of philosophy that ensured a ruler's soldiers would never stop, never question, and never return home in defeat. It was a psychological cage that transformed human beings into weapons that couldn't be turned off. In the world of the samurai, honor didn't just have a price, it had a body count that spanned centuries. Thank you for joining us as we went behind the mask of the samurai. If you believe history is more complex than the legends, subscribe to Time Unlocked and share this video to help us keep the past alive. Was the samurai code a noble ideal? Or was it just a form of ancient mind control? Let us know in the comments below.